Hi and welcome back. In this next video we're going to look at initializing the brim of our face data. First thing you need to do is import a calibration file. Calibration is done in CaraLive. So we go File, Import XCP, and we choose the calibration that you'll also find in the sample data. Okay, so now we have our calibration file. This is giving us the basic intrinsics of our camera, and now we need to tell the software what markers are associated across this brim. So we go Process, Initialize default brim. Now this brim and all the latest brims are 2.0, so it's very common to use 2.0. So if we import the brim now in the 3D view, so if we go View, New Floating Workspace, we can see our brim template. Now this is a fixed set of markers that the software knows the exact positions for, and all we need to do is click on a marker in the 3D view, and then in each of the 2D views, Control, click on the same marker. This is making an association between the 4 camera views and the brim template in the 3D view. And to make that association, we just press M for Merge Marker. So we do the same on the other side. Press M. We do the same for ones across the top. So this is going to be this marker. And same on the other side. So we're basically giving it a coverage across the markers, across the brim, and making those associations. Okay, so 4 should be enough to fill in the rest of those points in the template. So we simply go Process, Solve Calibration Brim, and here we can see the markers have gone purple, but we've also got some rough camera positions. So the software knows where all the brim markers are, and it can give you an initial layout of where it thinks the cameras are. Now if you're using the white marker brim, you'll notice there are 2 extra points in the template that aren't required, so we can just Control select them and press delete, or Control delete to delete them. Control D, sorry. Okay, so we've initialized our brim. Now we need to tell the software which markers on the face in the 2D views are the same. So to do this, again, we just simply click on the marker in the 2D view and press M. Now this has made an association between these markers. If I zoom in on this marker, we can see there's a tiny yellow line. Now this is showing the distance between the projected position and the 2D marker. Now the reason the line's so long is because the calibration is only using the brim at the minute. So the more markers we add, the more confidence we can add to the calibration, and the smaller those lines will become. So I'm going to take the forehead marker, I'm going to take a marker on the nose, and press M to make those associations. I'm going to take a marker on the jaw, I'll make similar associations. So we're starting off with markers that are visible within all 4 cameras. This is quite important, as it's going to give the best possible suggestion of where the cameras should go. And I press M. Okay, and you can see these markers have been created in 3D as we add them. These positions are just going to be a rough position for the time being. Now I'm going to add the eyelid markers. Now, depending on the density of your marker set, you may not need to add as many markers as this before you can initialize the full face set of markers. But because we're using quite a dense set here, I'm having to add a few in. So I've kind of covered the centre of the face. I'm going to add these stabilizing markers in. Even though they're just visible in 2 cameras, because they're right round the back of the face, it's still going to give it a good coverage. That's really what you're trying to do, is teach it the full coverage of the face markers. So we've added in the 2 on that side. I'm going to do the same on this side. And then finally there's a marker here on the cheek, which I think is this one, which can be seen in all 4 camera views, so that's a useful one to add. Okay, so we've added in a few markers there. Now we need to update the calibration file, essentially. So to do this, we go Process, and we want to bundle the current frame, and we want to use Unconstrained. And you can see all the circles shifted, so if I undo that, you can see here the positions of the markers will shift slightly. This is because we're basically updating the calibration, and we're saying, well, these markers are fixed because we've associated them manually between the 4 camera views, and the software is updating the camera positions to make those effects. Okay, so we've updated our calibration, or our bundle. Now we're going to initialize the rest of the face markers, and to do this we go Process, and we choose Initialize 3D. Okay, and here we can see the rest of the face markers have been created in 3D. Looks pretty good to me. Now what you may notice is that some markers appear slightly out of position, and that's if a mark has been associated incorrectly as part of the Initialize 3D process. So I can't see any in this sample data set, but if you notice some markers kind of floating out in space, it's often worth selecting it and just making sure to see that it's been associated in the correct camera positions. So if I turn off projections, here we can see that a lot of our markers have turned blue, and they've turned blue because they've been created in 3D. But what you will notice is that some of them have been missed. So here, for example, this mark on the nose hasn't been associated, so we can just go in and manually fix that. So in this example, we can see it's actually decided that this marker on the inside of the eye should be this marker here. Now to remove this, we just select the incorrect marker in the camera view, and we go Edit, and we want to Detach Detections, either active range or current frame. It doesn't matter at the minute because we haven't tracked the data, so we can just do current frame or Control H, and that's just removed that detection from that camera. Now we can select the real marker and press M to merge the point, and you can see it's done the same here. So again, I just select the incorrect one. Well, this is interesting. Now we've got it split across 2 cameras, so we need to remove 2 of them. I probably removed the wrong one. So here we can see we've actually got a point detected in 2 cameras in both sets. So we can just select those 2 points and press M, and that will merge those detections. We can now go in and fix the one that we disconnected. So we can't see it in this camera view, and to be honest, in this camera view it's going to be right on the edge of the nose. So this is an example where you don't actually want this camera contributing for this marker. So we're just going to select it in 2 views and press M. Now what you'll also notice is that we've had a blob detected here in 3D around the eyes. Now this is obviously bad data in terms of it's actually picked up the highlights of the eyes. So we just select the bad detection and we press Ctrl D to remove it. Okay, here on the eye we can see it's missed one. So we select it in the correct views, Control left, select it in the other views and press M, and now we've updated that point. Over here we can see it's missed a detection right on the edge of the face, so we can just select it in 2 views and press M. And there we go, it's updated the points. Again, I mean you can see here it's got a detection around 2 markers, so we're going to ignore that. These two are going to get too close together. We really want to make sure that the only markers we're initializing are actually clean ones. So in this sense we can see this marker and this marker. It's going to be this one. Press M. Now you can see the 3D point. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. We've got the markers on the edge of our face. We're now almost ready to start tracking our data. So we'll look at that in the next video.